Part of the reason these viruses are so hard to control is we've had to go through a complete cultural change with when people expect to be bitten by mosquitoes. So keep that in mind. The year that I was elected president of the American Mosquito Control Association was the Zika year. Here I thought I'd go to wonderful meetings like this and give outstanding talks and meet great people and go to a cocktail hour afterward. I actually had to work. This is one of the next big threats. It's called Rift Valley fever, after the Rift Valley in Africa. It is on the top 10 list for bioterrorism threats. A mosquito-borne virus is on the top 10 list of our government, primarily because this virus not only impacts humans and kills humans, but it absolutely devastates the livestock industry. So if the bad guys ever figured out a way to introduce this into our agricultural arena, we could have problems. We still have 30,000 people around the world who die from yellow fever every year. What's the next Zika? I don't have a clue. So a lot of us, like me, we kind of scratch our head. We come to these meetings and people say, hey, what do you think is going to be the next one to come? And I say, I don't know, and I scratch my head just like that guy. There are over 100 different viruses that we know about in the world, that that are transmitted by mosquitoes that can cause human illness. Over 100. Most of those still have not hit our shores. But we've had West Nile, we've had Zika, we've had dengue, we've had chikungunya, and then we have our own St. Louis encephalitis. So instead of trying to predict what's next, what I'm going to do is take you through the different conditions that have to exist for one of these things to show up. And it could show up right here in New York. Just like Zika did in Miami 2 years ago. It was a perfect storm. We had 224 locally transmitted cases by mosquito bite in Miami, Florida. In Miami, Florida, just to remind you. So this can happen. Is it a big risk? Maybe not, but the risk is there, and I want you to understand how it happens. The Asian tiger mosquito was introduced in the United States in 1984. It's now spread to all or parts of 40 states. It's a nasty biter. It's in New York. It's all over in New Jersey. I mean, it's all over in New Jersey. And I don't mean that in a bad way. The mosquitoes all over. But it is a very efficient transmitter of these viruses. And it's spreading in our country, the Asian tiger mosquito. I'm going to talk a little bit about Zika. I know we all heard a lot about it, but I'm going to review what happened with it to set the stage for what could happen with some of these other viruses. There's about 3,500 different kinds of mosquitoes in the world, give or take. Does that seem like a lot in the insect kingdom? 3,500 different kinds. Whoa, that's a lot. Is that a lot? There's more than 500,000 different kinds of beetles. So when it comes to mosquitoes, their numbers aren't quite that big. How many people on this planet still die from a mosquito bite? 1 million. 1 million. The vast majority of those are malaria in Africa, which used to be more than 1 million itself. That's now down to about 750,000, give or take, depends on who you read. And most of those are children under the age of 5. Still die from mosquito bites.